Conformation is basically, my job is to evaluate a blueprint that each breed has to determine what dog fits that standard or that blueprint. I always refer it to a carpenter building a house, right? You get a blueprint and you have to design that house to fit that blueprint. So a conformation is very much the same thing. It's a blueprint of a breed, and you try to breed a dog close to that blueprint as you possibly can. All right, just real quick announcement. This is probably my favorite part of the whole day. It truly is. So as anyone has gone to shows that I've judged, this is your future. These When I became a judge 13 years ago, I wanted to direct my attention to the juniors. And one of the reasons for that is the juniors are the future of this sport. This is a sport. Some people call it a hobby, but it truly is a sport. And the juniors are so important. We're all getting older, and without those juniors, we don't have new up-and-coming people coming into the dog show world. So it's important that you make sure that those juniors are put on a little bit of a pedestal. And so I've been, for the last few years, probably the last 6 years, I've really been pushing myself to really work really hard with the juniors and get them to a level of professionalism that they're just as competitive and enjoyable to be in, and to understand more than just putting a leash on a dog and walking it around the ring. Understand why the breeds are there for certain reasons, and what's important to their breed and what's the hallmark of each breed. Each breed has a hallmark. So I've been pushing for the kids to educate themselves and knowing structure of a dog and why they have to have a certain lay back a shoulder or how they have to move. So it's important to just give them that knowledge, right? Knowledge is power. It is a 60-40 judging basis. So it's 60% on the junior handler, how that child understands the structure of the dog, what the dog was bred for, what was the purpose of the dog, know what the dog has for faults or disqualifications, and then 40% of that is also based on what they are showing at the end of their lead. They're not showing a dog that doesn't conform to that standard, so they know what they're showing and that it does conform to the standard that they're showing. It's an education process, right? So they're learning as they're going, they're getting better, and it's competitive. They want to be better. They want to get that big ribbon. So it's really, really cool to see them get better. That was a tough group of kids. So that was a tough group. I literally had to, what I call nitpick, and decide how I was going to break the kids down to the top 10 kids. So I looked for small little things on how they switch their hand, they switch the lead on their hands, and I looked for the way that they gaited a dog. Do they overextend the dog? Do they show the dog correctly? There's different techniques that we do when we do different patterns. Like I chose an L pattern where they have to switch their hands. Some of them didn't, so that brought them down a notch. So that was great to see.
Oh yes, that was exciting. I wasn't really expecting it because I've been trying to get that ribbon for 10 years now, so it was finally nice to achieve that. This is Plum. She is an American Pit Bull Terrier. She loves doing sports like dock diving and conformation and lure coursing. She just turned 2 years old. She is my bred by, so we just now started getting a little bit more competitive with her campaign, and I've been showing her in juniors for about 6 months to a year now. I started off not so competitive, but I was just doing it for fun. But then I started with a Siberian Husky, which kind of wows a lot of people, but I did start off in Huskies and showing in junior showmanship, and then I moved on to my own dogs and started my own breeding program with my mom.
For me, the juniors truly is what my heart is set for. It's great to see the kids learn. The young girl who won 4 years ago, I did not give her an award, and she came to me and asked me what could she do to improve herself, and here she is. 4 years later, she's winning Best in Show Junior.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That was in Perry, Georgia. I didn't get picked for Best Junior, so I was obviously curious and wanted to know how I can improve, and I was showing Cash at the time in juniors, and he said that I didn't know exactly where the top line was, which now I know it begins at the occiput and ends at the tip of the tail. So it was kind of cool that he like asked me that question again. So it was like kind of like a refresher, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. So I knew where it was this time, which was kind of cool.
Of everything I do, and I judge a lot of dog shows every year, and I show at a lot of dog shows every year, last night was probably the highlight of my life, the highlight of my career as a handler, as a dog person. If I never get to do it again, I've accomplished and filled my bucket.